Hi, today I'm going to be walking us through how to execute the full stroke and play with strict alternating sticking. By the end of this video, we should reach a better understanding about how to play with the full sound and practice in a deliberate manner with the goal of balancing the sound of our right hand and our left hand. We will begin with a review of how to execute a full stroke. This is when the stick starts and finishes in the up position. One thing we must be mindful of is that our hands should be moving the stick the same way, right hand to left hand. This means that both sticks must start and finish at the same position and move at the same rate. We can practice this by playing double stops. We want to avoid the sticks starting and stopping at different positions. Or even moving at different rates of speed. We want a nice, even sound and remove any flams. We can also use a mirror to practice this to make sure the sticks are starting and stopping at the same height. Once we are comfortable with our full strokes, we can discuss sticking. Alternating sticking is defined in its name. No matter what, the right hand and the left hand play one after another in sequence with no doubling. Alternating sticking gives us a great tool to practice making our strokes sound more even between the right hand and the left hand, regardless of the rhythm. For our practice today, we will be playing Etude Roman numeral number 1 from Mitchell Peters' Intermediate Snare Drum Studies. This etude uses only duple rhythms, quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes, which helps us to narrow our focus as we practice deliberately to make our right hand and left hand sound more even. I like this etude as it forces our hands to alternate which stick is playing on the downbeats, the ones and the ands, versus the e's and the uhs. Let me explain a little bit further before we go on. If we have a bar of 16th notes, 1 E and the, 2 E and the, 3 E and the, 4 E and the. Right there, the right hand was playing all the ones and ands, and the left hand was playing all the e's and uhs. If we alternate, especially with, you'll see, Mr. Peters' exercise, it will make it so that some beats the right hand is playing the ones and the ands, and sometimes the left hand is playing the ones and the ands. 1 and now we switch the sticking around to continue the alternating pattern. 1 left, right, left versus right, left, right. So let me put on my metronome to 60 beats per minute and demonstrate the first line, and then we'll talk a little bit further about that. Some challenges we might encounter when we're working on this etude are deliberately swinging the rhythms. You'll hear it better than I can explain it, I think. nice and smooth and even. Another challenge we might encounter when we're trying to alternate everything is accidentally forgetting that and doubling a sticking. Might be a little easier at first, but it's not challenging us to alternate like we want it to. So our goals with this exercise are threefold. We want to execute consistent full strokes, not playing any downstrokes. We want a nice full sound. Practice deliberately to make the right hand and the left hand sound even, so we don't want it sounding like this. And play with a strict alternating sticking. Work on that a little bit. One of the tools that I use to make sure that I don't miss an alternating sticking, and I'll show you kind of close up in my book here. I'll use a pencil and I will write in the sticking for any of the lines I'm going to play. As you can see up here, I wrote in all the alternating sticking for each of these rhythms. I find that helpful if you need another visual aid. So all of these skills we discussed will help us to become more consistent and controlled percussionists. The last thing I want to discuss are 5 method books, which I've found to be essential for beginning and intermediate snare drum students. These books can also be applied to if you're a more advanced snare drum student. I certainly use these books still, which is why I'm telling you about them. So these books would be Stick Control by George Lawrence Stone. This is a wonderful collection of exercises with the goal of making our hands even and smoothing out all the rhythms that we play. Charlie Wilcoxon's Wrist and Finger Control. This helps us to play with a more relaxed and consistent sound. The Roll by Emil Schull. This helps us to develop our open and closed concert rolls and maintain it if we've already learned how to do that. You already saw this book in the description, but Intermediate Snare Drum Studies is a wide array of etudes combining all of the intermediate skill sets that we're going to need. And then finally, The Regimen by Sean Tilburg. This is a holistic method to snare drumming with detailed descriptions of all of the skill sets for the etudes and exercises that he includes in this book. I think this is a great resource for beginner, intermediate, and advanced snare drummers, which is why I want to include it. I'll include links in the description of this video to where you can find all these method books. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful.